Hey, this is Notser. We're in the Tier 10 US destroyer, Gearing. She has 6 127mm guns, 10 torpedoes, 30 AA guns, a surface detect of 5.9 kilometers, top speed, 37.8 knots, total health 23,400. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, rate of fire, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, last stand, superintendent, ship survivability, and concealment again. We are on the map Trap, and look at the teams. We've only got 11 teammates. The enemy team has 13. Now granted, 2 of those or 3 of those on the enemy team are tier 8s as their extras. But they still have a 2-ship advantage, and this is domination. The best game mode to have the extra ships. You can be in places that the enemy just cannot match. Even with a ship disadvantage, I'm still going to use the same strategy that I've always used. I love to go for B, and I love to run this island, whether it be the north or the south spawn. It just provides so much pressure on the enemy. You can try and capture B, which we are attempting. However, it is being blocked by an enemy destroyer. We basically arrived at the exact same moment. Nobody has an advantage at B. If there is an advantage, it's a very slight advantage for my team. So obviously, hey, there is an enemy destroyer out there. Now, one of my teammates, one of my division mates, Mindy, decided to go for B. I told Mindy, hey, it's a little dangerous. If it's contested, if you run into the enemy, you're going to have a hard time avoiding them. And Mindy knew better. She went into B, and now she has to face the consequences, and hopefully she can get out. But this enemy cruiser is already firing on either her position or the friendly destroyer that's right behind me, and the enemy destroyer that was trying to capture B sent torpedoes. They just appeared. Now, I'm going to send my torpedoes, one against the Kutuzov, and I'm also going to send one against the Shimakaze. We'll see how that works out. It appears that the enemy cruiser has no interest in continuing the direction that they're headed. They're actually going to pop their smoke. And look at what happened. Mindy. That was unsafe, and it cost her her life. I believe she died to a torpedo, and she died very, very quickly. If not a torpedo, a huge broadside. Either way, she had no chance to react, and that's the risk you run. The only reason I feel comfortable as a destroyer going through the center of Trap. Oh, what? We got 2 torpedoes and we killed something? What did we kill? We killed that Shimakaze. Oh yeah, taking out a tier 10 destroyer, especially a Shimakaze, who by the way is getting nerfed in 0.5.5. Just thought you ought to know. It's a really strong ship. The Gearing and the Khabarovsk are great at countering the Shimakaze. Those Japanese destroyers just can't deal with the overwhelming firepower. We're getting pretty close to the Soviet Tier 10. It's going to be really exciting once we do. But one thing you noticed when I had my smoke up, I was detected in my smoke. That enemy Soviet cruiser used the radar ability. Now, it only lasted for, I think, 15 or 20 seconds, and it's completely gone for 6 minutes. It's a really long cooldown, but he was able to take out 33% of our damage. He was also able to do about 50% of our life, and it forced us to move. I was going to use my guns, but I just can't do that now. And it's stupid to throw away your ship. I probably would have in the past, but not today. We retreat. I tell the Shimakaze, hey, live to fight another day. We can bring this back. We're not too far gone. There's no reason to stay and fight. We can go around and try and find any advantage that exists in the game. So that's exactly what we're doing. My torpedoes are almost ready to go, and I'm going to try and predict these cruisers, these battleships, whoever decides to go down this flank. Maybe they'll be not dumb enough, but maybe they'll be naive enough to continue without changing their course. You never know. I've seen worse. And I've done much worse. I'm not immune to idiocy. I have done so many bad plays, and I have plenty of them to share. We're just going to create a compilation, because obviously It's not a full video fail in one game. At least I hope not. I can't imagine failing that much, but the torpedoes are going through the enemy smoke. They should not know that it's coming, unless of course they're using hydro. In that case, I couldn't hit him anyway. Well, in theory, you shouldn't be able to hit a target with hydro up. It just gives you way too much information. It's a great skill if there's a threat of torpedoes or a really, really, really close destroyer. This North Carolina, he played it bad. He played it really bad. He's going to die, and while he's dying, there's no enemies at B to prevent the capture. I'm going to try and capture it. Maybe they believe that it was the North Carolina, although a player who's been around understands, hey, this is going up pretty fast. There's no way this is only one ship, plus we're interrupting it every time we land a shot on him. The North Carolina does die, and I'm checking. That Montana, he's right at the edge. He's not in capture. The first target that will be in capture is a destroyer, and we caught sight of it. I think it was a gearing. I'm not 100%. I just caught a flash of a destroyer, and that's it. Now, you notice how I'm playing this. You could easily play it exactly like this. The enemy team takes a capture point. You're in a destroyer, or you're in a fast cruiser that has pretty good detectability. You notice that they've moved out. You can go right back in, and that forces them to come right back and defend. And I'm at the edge, the absolute edge of the capture radius, trying to keep it contested for as long as possible. Every single, I think it's 3 seconds, every single 3-second window that it doesn't tick up, we have more time to come back. And there's more enemies incoming. We got 2 more cruisers. I do not want to risk my ship at all, and there's no reason to. I need to live in order to give my team an advantage. We're at a disadvantage right now, and we would be at an even worse disadvantage if I died. So I send my torpedoes, I bail out on the point. I felt like the gearing was getting very close. That Montana is going to die. Who's going to get the kill for my team? And that is a huge blow to the enemy team. Losing your tier 10 is not something that you want to do without having a 1-to-1 trade. That's pretty much what you... Oh, yep, it was a gearing. That's pretty much what you should expect. A 1-to-1 trade for tier 10s, and tier 10s should be able to get an extra kill on a low tier, maybe even 2. But if you die as a tier 10 without getting a kill, you have let your team down, and someone on your team has to compensate for that. It's just the facts, and we're doing pretty good damage on this gearing, honestly. He's scouted because I believe he took a shot. I am the closest. I don't think anyone else should be scouting him if he hadn't fired that shot. And we knock out his propulsion again, which he used damage control not 5 or 10 seconds ago. And I try and follow the flow of the gearing, and we lose track of him. The torpedoes, not successful. All they did is really force those cruisers to consider the threat. And boy, do I wish I had those torpedoes right now, because this Baltimore is getting very close. Now I see, hey, the Zhao really low. Take him out. If we focus the targets down in the right order, it's much easier, and they do exactly that. Do a great job of taking the cruiser out. This Baltimore is being a jerk. I don't know if he has radar, if he's used radar. What is the reason for not detecting me? He's just pushing forward into the smoke, which is very dangerous, of course. I give ground, and someone does a big shot. They finish off the Baltimore. He overextended to try and get the kill. Maybe he knew who I was. Maybe he felt the threat. However, we've now turned a deficit of 2 ships into an advantage of 2 ships in less than a minute, basically. Those were 2 or 3 ships that just couldn't afford to be that aggressive. We got the Montana, we got the Zhao, and we got the Baltimore. So now, it's just the gearing in the capture point. I'm going to go back. There are a couple battleships, there are a couple destroyers, and that Fletcher not having a good day. His propulsion is knocked out, and it appears that he does not have last stand, which is a big no-no. The U.S. destroyers have such a fast turret traverse, they do not need anything but last stand, in my opinion. Now, you might say, oh, I could pull torpedo rearm, and I would agree, torpedo rearm is a good skill, but if you are playing a U.S. destroyer, they are inherently aggressive, and when you are aggressive, you're going to take a little bit more damage than the average ship. And last stand is perfect for protecting your ship from total destruction. That Fletcher, he died. He couldn't do anything. The enemy gearing appeared to leave, but I think he's right back in because I am not really increasing the capture rate. So I tell my team, hey, I'm going to intentionally scout out the gearing, so I'm going to give myself up. We need to kill the gearing. If we kill the gearing, we have a huge advantage. We've taken out their last destroyer. And yep, sure enough, he is right in front of me. His detection is worse than mine. And I unload as much damage as I possibly can. His turrets are tracking me right now. I try and be as neutral as possible, and we get the kill. Friendlies do a great job listening to the instructions. It really helps out when you have players that are aware of the strategy and they can somewhat follow it without having voice commands. I mean, we're just typing it out. And now we're going to capture B. Those two battleships are bow on. My battleship needs the assistance. He's a great big tier 10 Japanese battleship, Yamato. But, of course, bow on is still a disadvantage no matter who you are. He just has a little bit extra damage than those two battleships. But you know what is really good at countering bow on targets? Big torpedo strikes right into their side. And it appears they're done. They have no interest in staying stationary. They're going to move forward. Maybe they're grasping at straws. I don't know why they chose to move forward. I'm not going to complain, though. This is perfect for me. The Iowa is putting himself in position to take damage, and I decide, let's go guns. I switch to AP, and I fire basically halfway up on the hull so I can hit the superstructure. You're going to do about 2,000 points of damage, and look at this rate of fire. We're able to assist in killing him off. We don't get the kill, which is fine. I didn't want the kill. We've got the Izumo, and the Izumo is going to move forward really slowly, and it doesn't look like he's changing his speed at all. We take a huge secondary salvo, but he's not looking at us, and all 5 torpedoes are right on the money. We take them out. We only needed 4. We earned the devastating strike, and the game's basically over. The team that had the numbers advantage, the base advantage, they just overextended, and great job by the teammates that were basically on the southwest side of the map. They allowed the enemy team to come towards us. They focused fire, and we worked really well. I think at least 4 ships were focused down by the team, and that's pretty rare in random battles, let's be honest. And we probably couldn't have won without that focused fire, without that teamwork. And I'm really happy. I felt great about this team, except for that Mindy character. She's a real pain. Now, obviously, she completely found out why. I told her, don't you go to B. Don't you dare. If you don't have smoke, there's absolutely nothing you can do if you're caught out. And she was caught out. Completely out in the open. I would use analogies related to pants being down. At least it was painless. She didn't feel anything in her last moments on this earth. But it's a great learning opportunity. That's all you have to look at it. If you make the worst play of your life, this is great for learning. That's what I say to myself all the time. On this particular map, I ran into an island right in front of an aircraft carrier. This clip does exist. It will be shared, but it was a fail moment. So we got 2 devastating strikes, 3 kills, 6 torpedo strikes, almost 500,000 credits earned. We captured a base. We did 2,810 base XP, and yeah, look, 11 to 13. But let's be fair, they needed the help. We had way more tier 10s. We did around 90,000 points of damage in a 14-minute match, which I didn't feel like we had a chance of winning at the beginning. But we came back as a team. We did a good job as a team. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.